Very good morning to Ananda. Today, we are going to discuss about the topic methods of improving computation. In the previous class, we discussed about what is the meaning of computation and how this computation occurs at the brushes and how it will cause sparking at the brushes. Right. What are the effects of this computation also we have seen in the earlier class. Today we are going to discuss about how this computation will be improved and what are the methods to improve this computation. Right. Right. There are two ways to improve the computation. In any one of the way, what we need to do is the current reversal has to be done completely uh, by the end of the short circuit of the coil concerned. This leads to sparkless computation. Nothing but the computation is improved. We can say that there is a good computation in the DC generator. So, how this will be done? Probably there are two methods to improve the computation. First one is called as resistance computation and the second one is called as EMF computation. Now, in this presentation, I would like to explain in detail about this resistance computation and EMF computation. Because any one of these computation methods has to be improved in the DC generator so that we will get a sparkless computation in the particular DC generator what we have considered. Right. So first, I'll start with the resistance computation. Uh, Before explaining that one, all of you observe this diagram. I think you can remember that this diagram is already explained when we are discussing about the computation process, right? So the same I am considering, whatever may be the problem we faced during the computation, like sparking at these segments can be nullified in this method by choosing a resistance switching, right? So you observe here, there are three coils: coil A, coil B, coil C. And similarly, the segments small a, small b, small c. And there is a copper brush in the previous computation what we have discussed, which causes a sparking at the brushes. But now if you observe, this brush is a combination of two materials. The hashed area is completely uh, copper and the above that one nothing but surface of the brush is made with a carbon material. Carbon material. So if you observe this one, the materials copper and as well as carbon, compared to copper brushes, carbon brush will have high resistance. So this material is used in the resistance switching. So but we need to understand how this is by using carbon brushes it is eliminating the problem of poor computation. So first again I would like to explain the process here again. If you observe, coil A and coil C together they are supplying I amperes and I amperes. If you observe, the brush has to collect 2 I amperes at any condition. So for this one, if you observe, the brush, let us consider this position of the brush here at this exactly middle of the two segments A and B here. So at this condition, we need to observe the cross-sectional area in contact with the segment A and in contact with the segment B. Both are equal. So at this condition, the current that is obtained from the Caesar, from the coils A and B together, it is a capital I plus small x, right? And from this B and C here, it is through the segment B, it is capital I minus x. So if I sum them up, what happens? There will be a total current of 2I current will flow through the brush, collected by the brush, no doubt it. So, but I am mentioning here what is the resistance of this brush which is in contact with the segment B is small r1. The other it is small r2 which is in contact with the segment A. This is the first condition I am considering. Now we'll simply move on to the next condition, for which the commutator segment is rotating in the forward direction. So then what happens? Gradually, the contact area of this brush with the segment B is gradually decreasing, and the contact area with the segment A is gradually increasing. So with this what happens, as the cross sectional area which is in contact with segment B decreases, means it is made with a carbon, so high resistance will be offered by this small area. During this condition, whatever may be the current that is required for the brush has been completely diverted to the coil B, and a little current will flow through this one. So major current is completely diverted to the segment A only. That point we need to understand, right? If you consider the next case, so what happens? Let us assume this brush is completely in contact with the segment A. By that time, what happens? There is no contact area with the segment B, so no current will flow through the segment B. The all current, by the time it reaches the completing of short circuit, all the current has been diverted through the coil B, and the all current 2 amperes will flow through this one. So at this instant, coil A is supplying I amperes and coil B is supplying I amperes in the reverse direction. So together it will give you 2I amperes, and the brush will collect 2I amperes. So the process of reversal of current in the coil B completely from positive I to negative I is done by the end of the short circuit of this coil. That is what we require in order to get ideal commutation. So in this type of resistance switching commutation, so the process is making such that there won't be any sparking at the end of the short circuit. So by this way, by using carbon brushes rather than copper brushes, we'll get ideal commutation. Now, I'll get one doubt. Why should I choose carbon as a brushes rather than the other materials? Because carbon brushes, carbon material is having some of the merits. Along with these, there are some demerits also. But probably because of the most of the merits, carbon is generally chosen as a brush material rather than copper. So we'll see what are the merits of the carbon brushes. So carbon material is a self-lubricating because the brushes are placed over the commutator segments. They have to smoothly pass over the segments of the commutator. So that is the reason the lubricating property is also very important, which is there in case of carbon. That is the first merit. And coming to that one, next one, they polish the commutators. The segments are also smooth, and they get polished, and so that there won't be any accumulation of the dust and all those. So they get polished the commutator. And next point, even though sparking occurs, by mistake if sparking occurs, the damage that happened to the commutator is also less compared to the copper brushes. That is the most advantageous merit by using carbon brushes. That point we need to understand. And next, coming to there are some disadvantages by using carbon as a brushes. We will see what are those. Because carbon has high contact resistance, there will be probably a voltage drop in these brushes. So that accounts for around 2 volts in general. So here we need to discuss one point. Even though the voltage drop across the brushes, it may not be that major contribution in case of large capacity generators. But for no doubt, small capacity generators, it will account. So this 2 volts is not a problem in case of a large generator. So we can make use of carbon brushes in order to get improved commutation, right? And next, coming to the other point, the brushes are larger in order to dissipate heat efficiently. So the heat that is developed at the brush contacts, as the resistance offered by these carbon brushes will be more. But what we have to do, we need to dissipate the generated heat as early as possible. So for that one, the larger brush areas will be taken. So that this problem of dissipating heat will be done very quickly, so it is not a problem. But by choosing larger brushes, we need a larger brush holder, that is also taken care. So by comparing the demerits and merits, mm, this demerits is not a problem. Why? Because we need to get a sparkless commutation. So for that one, carbons will be chosen. Carbon material is chosen for the commutators. Right. Next, we have seen there are two methods. The first one is a resistance commutation. The second one is a EMF commutation. What is the EMF commutation? In the we know that mainly the sparking is because of a self-induced EMF, which is also called as a reactance voltage. So what we have to do? We should not allow this reactance voltage, but we can't do. The reactance voltage will be induced in the short circuited coil. So then what we can do, we can neutralize this reactance voltage by some means in the short circuited coil, so that we can get ideal commutation. So for this, another method of commutation is known as EMF commutation. So in this method, what we are going to do, we are going to neutralize whatever may be the EMF that is induced in the short circuited coil, which is called as a reactance voltage, that has to be nullified, neutralized by producing the same amount of induced EMF, but in the another direction, nothing but opposite direction, so that this positive EMF and negative EMF get cancelled, and the ideal commutation can be obtained under this case. So for that one, the reversing EMF, the term used as a reversing EMF, EMF in the opposite to the reactance voltage. So let us consider an example. 20 volts is induced as a self-induced EMF in the coil during commutation. If we could able to produce the same 20 in the opposite direction, so these two get nullified. So it completely wipe it off, therefore producing a quick reversal of current in the short circuited coil, which results in sparkless commutation, which is required for us, right? So coming to this EMF commutation, again there are two methods of this reversing EMF. That is, first method is by doing a forward lead of the brushes. So generally, this changing the brush position in the required forward lead is a little bit complicated one. So earlier it will be used, but presently it is not used. So now coming to the next method of EMF commutation, this is done by using interpoles. These interpoles are also called as compoles. So now I'm going to introduce what is the meaning of interpoles, what is the location of the interpoles with the help of the diagram. See here, first before going to the concept explanation, I'll explain you what is this diagram, what is the location of the interpoles here. Here, these for simplicity I am considering only two pole mission, main pole mission. So this is a north main pole, this is south main pole, and if you observe, in between there are again two poles of in small size. That you can very clearly observe. These two are called interpoles. They are small in size when compared with the main poles, right? These are called interpoles. These are placed in between the main poles. So let me give you the explanation of these about the interpoles. So what are they, and what is their location, and how they are connected, how EMF get induced in this one opposite direction to the reactance voltage what we require. So these are small poles which are fixed to the yoke in the similar way how the main poles are fixed to the yoke. So but their location is they are placed or spaced in between the main poles here. So in between the main poles, and they are wound with heavy gauge copper wire tongues. The binding for this one is made with a thick conductors in the similar fashion of your armature conductors, and these are connected in series with the armature winding. Here we need to understand one point, that whatever will be the current that is flowing with the armature winding, the same current will flow through the interpole winding. So same current will flow through both armature and as well as interpole winding, and they carry full current. So if I'm loading the armature to the half loaded, that the same current will flow through the interpole winding. In the similar fashion, as I'm increasing load on the armature, the same current will flow through the interpole winding. That is why it is made with a heavy gauge winding. And coming to the next point, how these interpoles are placed on the yoke, with what polarity is the next question. Now, in the case of generator, the polarity of the interpole will be such that main pole ahead in the direction of rotation. Suppose if I am considering the direction of rotation of the armature in the clockwise direction, in this diagram you observe south pole is ahead, main pole is ahead. So the pole before that one is a south pole. Like this is only in the case of generators. This will be vice versa in case of motors, that we are going to discuss in the second unit. But here, what is the polarity of the interpole in case of a generator is such that the main pole ahead in the direction of the rotation of the armature. That point we need to remember. Next, how these interpoles will work, right? So an EMF is induced in the coil with the help of the reversal of current. So the EMF induced in the compoles is also known as a commutating or reversing EMF, because these are voltage induced in the interpole. It is called as a commutating EMF because our intention is to improve the commutation. So this EMF is concerned with improving commutation. So this can also be called as a commutating EMF, or sometimes it can also be called as reversing EMF, because whatever may be the EMF that is induced in the during short circuited coil during the process of commutation, we are reversing producing the reversing EMF. So it is also called as a reversing EMF. And you can observe here, and this is a diagram representation of 4-pole generator. Main poles, I am showing here main poles, north pole, south pole, north pole, south pole. Here in between we are placing the interpoles like south here, north and south, and north pole here. So 4 main poles are there, 4 interpoles are there, and the direction of rotation in the clockwise direction. So these are called main poles, and the small one are called interpoles. Right. So, what is the advantage of these interpoles here? With the interpoles, we can obtain the sparkless commutation even for around 20 to 30% overload of the generator with the same fixed brush position. That is the most important advantage of using these interpoles. And as we have explained earlier, as interpoles carry the armature current, their commutating EMF is proportional to the armature current. So as the armature current goes on increasing with the loading effect, proportionately the EMF required will also be induced in the reverse direction with the compoles, because the same current is flowing through the interpoles also. Right. Because of this one, this ensures an automatic neutralization of the reactance voltage, which is also due to the armature current. So with this, I explained very clearly about the methods of improving commutation, like resistance commutation and interpole commutation. In the resistance commutation and the EMF commutation. In the EMF commutation, we have again 2 methods. Out of these, interpoles is the best solution for the generators to get ideal commutation. So that because of these methods, what we mentioned right now, can improve the commutation process, and hence we can get sparkless commutation at the brushes. So that is required for the good performance of the DC generators. Thank you. One and all. We'll continue in the next class.